Dear Mr. Cameron, you are going to have your speech on Europe, and I think it will be a much more balanced speech than many people will think it is. Still, may I take you back to your own speech in 2007 in Blackpool? It was the year after you were elected as leader of the Conservative Party, and I was there, and it was a great speech. I enjoyed it immensely. I can't remember whether you talked about Europe, I don't think so, but you did talk about Britain and the British people. You talked about parents, about volunteers, about civic leaders, and their effort to take responsibility not only for themselves, but also for others. And in your examples and in the way you said people should work together, not wait for big government, but not finding big corporations an alternative either, I thought you were pointing the right way. Others would call that big society. I'm not one for big words, but I did like the idea, and I think you think so as well, that it's still your theme for the future. And Europe is not about Europe. Europe is about the farmer growing bulbs in Holland and selling his products in Zagreb, Warsaw, Hamburg, or whatever. It's about the student in Groningen going to Nottingham University for an extra degree. It's about the software developer in Eindhoven filing a patent for a new wonderful app or other innovation, able to do so in one go. Just like it is for uh, the farmer in Wales selling his product abroad, or the student going uh, uh, to Italy trying to make something of that country or whatever. It's about people like these. They are building Europe while others are talking about big things, big structures. And I know that the reason why you're having this speech has to do with many people in Britain who are worried about Europe. I can understand that very well. But can they be persuaded? I've been writing for a blog once, conservativehome.com. I think you know it as well. You've been writing for it, I believe. And at one time I was writing and giving a suggestion that Holland needs Britain to go together in Europe. And even that suggestion was too much for the readers of Conservative Home, because many gave me abuse for just suggesting that Britain should stay in union, whether to help Holland or not. So I don't think you can persuade many people of doing it in a different way. And as I said, Europe is not about Europe. It's not about the Brussels bureaucracy. It's about the people and the way they talk. I'm talking to you in English. It's not my native language, but I love to talk your language. Even so, it does not make me less Dutch when I talk in English. And the same goes for you. When you talk in English, you do not turn into a European. You remain a Brit, as it should be. So what we do with a common language, like English, is diminish the nuisance of having to talk in very different languages. It takes an effort. It took me many years to learn your language, and I'm still having problems with it even right now, finding the right words. But it has been worth the effort, and I don't think about it very much because it's now mine. I know your language, and I don't want to talk French, German, or any other language in Europe. I want to talk English. And in a way, that's the same thing with Europe. I don't want a referendum on which common language to have. I don't want to reference on something that you could consider in many ways to be a nuisance. I want leadership. I want leadership when it comes to solving the problems of Europe, yes. And I would want leaderships in terms of letting the people do what they need to do to help themselves, help others. I hope you can take that into account when you give your speech in the Netherlands. And by the way, you are very welcome indeed.